Hey guys, this is Italian American Wrestlers You Should Know. I'm Randy Ritchie. This is sponsored by Premier Pro Wrestling. And last month in October was actually Italian American Heritage Month. But we're doing this in November, and I don't think it matters that much. I'm enjoying the hell out of these, and I know a lot of people are, so I'm going to keep them going. Bear with me because I'm doing this from the car. We'll see how this plays out because I'm old and I'm not much of a multitasker. But today we're honoring, and I do mean honoring, Joe Scarpa. You would know him better as Chief Jay Strongbow. What an amazing baby face. They say that he was one of the greatest baby faces in the history of the industry, and they mean it. I defy you. I don't care what kind of fan you are. If you're not even a fan, go down that rabbit hole on YouTube and look up Chief Jay Strongbow matches. You'll lose it. The guy was entertaining. There was absolutely zero wasted movement. He was one of the top guys with one of the longest runs in the history of WWF, then WWF, and in part for a while he was an agent with WWE. He was a friend of mine. I'm going to go ahead and say my name ending in a vowel probably did not hurt that. There was a time when Chief made me, or put me, in charge of booking extras, non-contract talent, for the Midwest. Chief got me a lot of work with WWE and a lot of dark matches. And in turn, there's guys like CM Punk, Jay Bradley, and Adam Pearce that I would bring to some of those, that got over with Chief. But let me tell you just a couple of funny things about my interactions with Chief. So the first thing is he was, I had a leg up because my name ended in a vowel. Secondly, I was considered Handsome Jimmy Valiant, the Boogie Woogie Man's, the one half of the Valiant Brothers, WWE Hall of Famer as well, his boy, and that was quite the honor. And that was quite the honor that I earned when I was on the road with Jimmy down in the Mid-South for Jerry Jarrett back in the last full-time territory. So whenever I would see Chief, he'd always say, "Man, how's Jilly Jive?" Because that's what he would call Handsome, was the Jilly Jiver, When you watch Chief work, there was no better comeback. You could not get a better crowd reaction of Chief Jay Strongbow's comeback. It was legendary, and many, many wrestlers have tried to imitate it. And it's worked for a lot of the wrestlers, i.e. Tatanka, Chris Chavez, and also Hulk Hogan. Now, Chief was stiff. He came from the generation of wrestler before Handsome Jimmy, okay? Those guys took this business very serious because it was very serious. It's a business. It's an industry. It's not what you see now, where it's WWE, which focuses more on the entertainment part of the sports entertainment, or AEW. You got Tony Khan playing live wrestling action figures with humans, and then you got these idiots that, let's face it, were probably backyard wrestlers in high school and junior high, but now that they got a few dollars, can afford gear and find out where to rent a ring, call themselves wrestling promotions, man. Everybody was drawing. There were 80-something territories, 82, I believe, territories in the country, okay? And it was a very secret society, and at the end of the day, the fan was much better off because they got the full experience. You know what I'm saying? Chief protected that. Why would that make him a prick? Did he have an ego? Yes. But how could you not be a top guy? And he was a top fucking guy, a top fucking draw, and not have some sort of an ego. He got a lot of shit from people when people started to go woke, because he was an Italian American playing a Native American. But your Native Americans, they didn't really feel that heat, just like they didn't feel that heat with Iron Eyes Cody either, because they were getting the word out there with the exposure, of a race that really has been the most mistreated in the history of the country, the United States of America. Here's the thing. If it was so wrong why were Chief Jay Strongbow and Chief Jewel Strongbow, who was a legitimate Native American tag team champions, why did Jules run the roads and team with Chief? You know what I mean? He's got this reputation of being a prick. He wasn't a prick. He was not a sugarcoater, you know? And I think the industry needs a lot more of those today, especially, you know, agents like Chief Jay Strongbow. You know what I mean? So, Chief was an avid golfer. He was from Griffin, Georgia. I'm in Central Daylight Savings Time or whatever the fuck. I'm in Chicago. And Chief lived over in Griffin, Georgia. And once in a while, man, he'd call me it was still dark. He'd call me at 5 a.m. my time. If he asked me about this guy, that guy, or the other guy, you know. And one day he called me about, who is this Patriot, Fox? I'm like, well, why do you ask? And he tells me, I'm going to take a look at him. I need to know, who's this Patriot, Fox? I'm like, well, you know him. You've seen him over here or over there. I don't know this fucking guy, Fox. That's why I'm calling you at 5 a.m. Hell of a rib, huh, Fox? And they go, who is this guy? I go, Chief, I don't know what to tell you. Here, how about this? Vince will love him. $1 million body, 2-cent brain. Chief loses his shit. And it was funny because then by the time I'd seen him in that tryout, it happened. You were right, Fox. Vince loved him. $1 million body, 2-cent brain. Ha, ha, ha. You know, so every time I would see him, he would say that. No, I am not bearing Del Wilkes, the Patriot, not by any means or any stretch of the imagination. The problem with him then was he was green, but because of the way he looked and his size, it was really unfair because everybody was trying to hotshot him, you know? And he really evolved into a great worker, but I'm talking about at the time. It certainly wasn't personal. You know what I mean? Chief did not work out in the gym. Chief maintained his shape when he was in his prime by wrestling every night. And sometimes they wrestled twice a day, just like I did, you know? Last time I was in Memphis, I wrestled twice a day because I did double duty as 2 different personas, so I was wrestling 15 times a week, you know? I had to hit the gym because I was a smaller guy. But I don't think it would have mattered with Chief because the biggest thing about Chief was his charisma in front of those people. He always gave them their money's worth and then some. You know, he may have been a prickly personality, but he certainly, you know, put the fan first. You know, what a storyteller. And once again, there was no more fiery comeback than Chief Jay Strongbow's in that ring. Go down that rabbit hole, you know, on YouTube, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Even people that weren't wrestling fans would be entertained by it. You know what I mean? It just was outstanding. And the other thing is, I don't think the fans cared. I'm sure in a lot of parts of the country, he'd wrestled as Chief Jay Strongbow and earlier in his career wrestled as Joe Scarpa. So I don't think they cared because it was just that good. You know what I mean? The only people, in closing, the only people that don't get it and would say that Chief was a prick were people that could never transition from performer to businessman. And Chief had to do that, and that worked too, you know? He was an agent for half as long as his wrestling career was, so he was doing something right. And at the end of the day, it's not about the individual, it's always about the company. And wrestling is supposed to be a business, an industry. And Chief did very well for himself and his family. He had an adopted son, and he deserves some attention. And started in about 1990, me and Mark Young, that's what he wrestled as, were about the same age. And he would try to encourage us all the time to take up a trade, get out of this, it's over, it's never going to be like it was. You know what I mean? And we were smaller guys, you know? But I'm telling you, go look up some Mark Young matches on YouTube for WCW and WWE, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You know, Chief could have nepotized his son, but he didn't. He just asked for them to take a look at it, and the kid had to get over on his own merit. He was very talented and a very nice guy, you know, and I really appreciated him, Chief, when he would do that. He would take time for me and Mark. He would put his arm around me and Mark. He would call me sometimes for personal stuff, you know what I mean? And I'm not ashamed to call him a friend, even though a lot of people say, oh, he was an asshole, he was a stooge, you know? He did what was best for the company. He did what was best for the industry. He did what was best for him and his family, you know? And isn't that what we're all supposed to be doing out there? All right, guys. Italian-American wrestlers, you should know, at the very least, be cool, like, and subscribe. Note there's no YouTube commercials here. I will always honor Chief Jay Strongbow, who, incidentally, and I didn't have to pry it off of him, endorsed me for training when I first started training guys back in 1998. And I was really, really appreciative of that, because that's not the type of guy that he was. He wouldn't go out and stamp his name on just about anything. So I couldn't believe it myself. So go ahead. I'm going to put more information in the description about Chief, because I think everybody should commemorate and remember Chief. He was one of the godfathers of this industry, one of the godfathers of WWE. And also, I'm going to put in the description how you can help support Premier Pro Wrestling, specifically Premier Pro Wrestling on Pro Wrestling Tees, and check out our streaming service. You know, PPW Live, you're going to see a shitload of concept matches that, you know, you've never seen before, and I think people are going to appreciate them, because I don't get any negative feedback about them. You know, once in a while I get the occasional idiot that's jealous or whatever the hell, but outside of that, man, fans are thoroughly entertained. All right, guys, Italian-American wrestlers, you should know.